Hello and welcome to Rando Tech Info, and welcome to our 2019 Smartphone Holiday Buyer's Guide edition. This is a guide that we're going to do today that is going to be broken down by price in order to help you find a good phone in a chosen price range, either for yourself or for someone else. All phones in the list are new and unlocked. We're also not going to go into a great amount of detail. You can do a deeper dive on any one of these devices later. This is just meant as a jumping off point or a place for you to get started. No specific prices are going to be mentioned either, because there are different deals going on and they're changing every day. We're going to list these phones in certain price ranges at the price they are normally offered at. So if you find a phone outside of the price range that we tell you about today, then that might be a really good deal you want to consider. Finally, if you live somewhere else in the world other than North America, then definitely make sure you check and make sure that any of these phones will work where you live. And as always, no matter where you live, make sure you buy the right version of the phone. So let's get started. So starting off in the around $100 price point, we've got the Nokia 2. Great Nokia build quality. Runs Android Oreo, basically stock Android. Biggest drawback of this phone is no fingerprint sensor, so it's PIN only. So if that's a big deal to you, you probably want to pass on this one. Also, it's GSM only, as a lot of phones on this list are, which means it will only work on AT&T and T-Mobile. It will not work on Verizon and Sprint. So make sure as we talk about other phones, when we say they're GSM only, keep that in mind. The other phone on this list that will work on all carriers is the Moto E5 Play. Motorola is known for giving people good bang for their buck at a lower price point. This phone is no different. It has a micro SD slot along with a close to stock Android experience. So strong choice there. Next up, we have the under $300 price point. First, we have the Moto G7, widely considered one of the best phones for the money. It has a modern design and good cameras for this price point. There are different versions of this one, so make sure you get the one you want. The Nokia 6.2, once again, has that strong Nokia build quality. It also has an Android One version of Pie, meaning you should get a top flight software experience, and with its 6.3-inch HD display, it's pretty to look at as well. Finally, the Razer Phone 2. This thing was a spec-heavy beast when it came out last year, and it still holds up pretty well today. It's still one of the only phones out there with a 120 Hz refresh rate. If you're looking for a gaming phone on a budget, it's going to be hard to beat this one. Once again, the Nokia phone and the Razer Phone 2 are both GSM only. Next up, we have the under $500 price point. First up, the iPhone 8. Apple cracks the list at this price point. The 8 is still a great phone, offering great performance and good cameras, especially in this price range. It's also the last iPhone to be offered with a home button. So if you're old school and you like the home button, this is also the way to go. If you're looking for a good iPhone experience on a budget, you can't really go wrong here. Next, we have the Pixel 3. If the Pixel 4 is a little pricey for you, then the 3 might be the way to go. Most of the problems that the 3 had at launch are now gone. It still has a great camera. It has stock Android. Also, if you're looking for the XL version of the phone, its list price is more than $500, but there's been a lot of deals on this phone recently, so it's very possible you will be able to find it in this $500 price range. If you can't find a deal on a Pixel 3 and you're looking to get a cheaper Pixel phone, then the 3A is still a good option. It's still got the great camera. It doesn't have quite as good a processing power as the standard 3, but it's still good enough for most people. Next, the Moto Z4. The Z4 is the closest thing Motorola has to a flagship phone. It doesn't quite have the specs of other modern flagships, but it does cost a lot less than most. And it has Moto mods, if you're into that kind of thing. The LG G8. When the LG G8 came out earlier this year, it was reviewed as kind of a meh device. Nothing really wrong with it, but nothing that really made it stand out. Well, flagship quality specs at under $500 now makes it stand out. This is one of the best delight for dollar ratio phones you can buy on any of these lists. If you're looking for a great experience with a good looking phone at a reasonable price, you're not going to do much better than the G8. So, The under $700 price point, we have the iPhone 11, which is being really well reviewed right now for its bigger battery and better cameras than last year's phones. They also took $50 off the price of the R from last year. So if you're an iPhone user and you're looking for the best deal for an iPhone, you really can't go wrong if you want something new with the iPhone 11. Next, you've got the OnePlus 7T. The 7T has been one of the best reviewed phones of the year, especially for the money. It gives you top tier specs that are even better than other flagship phones. Looking at you, Samsung. The camera is not quite as good as on some of those devices, but with its 90 hertz screen and super fast charging, it's a really good phone for the money. It's the phone I'm actually filming this video on, so obviously I recommend it. The OnePlus 7 Pro is $100 more than the 7T, and it has the slightly older 755 chipset, not the 755 Plus, but it makes up for this with a higher resolution screen and no notch. It has a pop-up selfie camera, so if you're looking for a conversation starter, that might be the way to go. It also has curved edges, whereas the 7T is flat. Next up, we have the Galaxy S10. This phone was more expensive when it first came out, but now it's pretty easy to find for under $700. It came out early in the year, but it still holds up really well against other flagship phones. And if you're looking for a top-of-the-line flagship Samsung phone, it's the only one you're going to find with a headphone jack. Next, we have the Nubia Z20. The Z20 is a dual-screen phone. It has a screen on both the front, a full-size screen on the front, no notch, and a smaller screen on the back of the phone, used for taking selfies, or can also be used for gaming, so you don't take up room on the front screen. It's one of the most unique phones to come out for the year, and for the price, you're really not going to do too much better. Next up, we have the LG G8X. The G8X is a dual screen phone which gets its second screen from the case that you put it in. So you put it in this case that actually gives it another full-size screen that looks something like this. So it's not as fancy as like a Galaxy Fold. Obviously there's a hinge between the two screens, so it's not quite as cutting edge. But for the price and the functionality, this phone is a really, really unique opportunity. Next up, we've got the flagship, the money no option, best of the best of the major manufacturers. And the first up is the Pixel 4, Pixel 4 XL. People seem to either love or hate these phones. The bottom line is, if you are a Pixel lover and you want the best, then this is what you get. It's got cool camera features like astrophotography and the dual contrast sliders. It's got a crazy good zoom as well. So if camera and photography is still your thing, then a Pixel is still worth considering. Also, if you're into photography, then you might want to look at the iPhone 11 Pro. They are not cheap, but they are the best phones Apple has to offer right now. Cameras are best in class along with the Pixel. The Pro does win on versatility while having a telephoto and a wide-angle lens, where the Google Pixel does not have the ultra-wide-angle lens. These phones are top of the line, so if you like all things Apple and money is no object, then this is what you buy. Next up, we have the Note 10 series. Are they pretty? Check. Are they powerful? Check. Do they have good cameras? Check. Do they have unique productivity tools? Does it have a stylus? Check, check. It also has a big price to go with it. But if you want Samsung's best right now, the Note 10 is what you get. Finally, we have the ROG Phone 2. Thought by many to be the best gaming phone ever, it's big and it's obnoxious. But it has a big, beautiful screen, the best speakers ever put on a phone, and its battery life is insane. If you throw in the built-in shoulder buttons for gaming, you basically have every gamer's dream phone. So that about does it for a 2019 smartphone holiday guide. We hope you found this guide useful. If there's a phone that we missed that you think should have been on the list, please put it down in the comments so other people who watch this video can see it. We hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as we enjoyed making it. Have a happy holiday season, and until next time, this is Rando Tech Info, signing out.